Hello, fifth graders. So let's take a look at lesson 10. So in our previous lessons, we had been talking about different strategies for multiplication. Today we're going to start looking at multiplying using decimals. I did make a small change to the instructions on the guided practice portion of our pages today. We're going to take out this part where it says and the standard algorithm in number 1 because we'll look at the standard algorithm in number 2. So what we're going to do first is we're going to estimate our product, and then for number 1, for A and B, we're going to solve using the area model, and for 2, we will solve using standard algorithm. So let's get started. So we'll look at number 2 first. We're going to estimate our product. So 22 is a pretty easy number to multiply, so I'm going to keep it as 22. But then 2 and 4/10, I'm going to round down to 2. So I multiply those two together, 22 times 2, and I get 44. So my answer is going to be somewhere around 44. So I'm going to draw my area model box with my 4 spaces, since I have two two-digit numbers. 22 I'm going to put on this side. I'll break down to 20 and 2. And then across the top, I'll break it down to 2 and 4/10. Make my pen a little smaller, make it a little easier to write in boxes. And then we can start multiplying. So we have 20 times 2, which equals 40. And 2 times 2, which equals 4. Then we have 20 times 4/10, and we have 2 times 4/10. So there's a couple of ways that we can talk about multiplying with our decimals. So I'll show one way in this problem, and then in our next problem, we'll talk about the other kind of way to think about it. So the first way we can think about this, and there are also many other ways we can think about it, these are just 2 of them. So we can think 20 times 4. Well, I know 20 times 4 is going to be 80. And I know that since I have one number behind the decimal in one of my factors, that I'm going to have one number behind the decimal in my product. So that means that 20 times 4/10 is going to equal 8. It's super important that we remember to put that decimal point there. For the next number, I'm going to do the same thing. I know 2 times 4 is 8. And again, I have one number behind my decimal point, so I'm going to have one number behind my decimal point in my product, and I'm going to add that 0 into the beginning to get 8/10. And then I can add 40 plus 8 plus 4 plus 8/10. And I get 52 and 8/10. And that's pretty close to 44, so we're on the right track. So let's take a look at B. So again, I'm going to hard to talk today. I'm going to estimate and then multiply. So 3 and 1/10 I can round to 3. 33 I'm going to keep as 33. So 3 times 33 I get 99. So my answer is going to be somewhere around 99. So I'm going to set up my area model. And I have 3, and I'm going to write out 1/10 this time. And across the top I have 30 and 3. And then we can multiply. 3 times 30, which equals 90. 3 times 3, which equals 9. And we have 1/10 times 30, which is going to equal 30/10. And 30/10 is equal to 3. And then 1/10 times 3 is going to be equal to 3/10, which if we write out in numbers is 0.3. So let's take a look back really quick at this box. the 1/10 times 30 equals 30/10. There's a couple of ways that we know, don't know what just happened there. Oh, there we go. Now it's gone. So there's a couple of ways that we know that 30/10 is equal to 3. We can think of 30/10 sticks. We can kind of think of it that way and group them into 3 wholes. We also know that 10/10 is equal to 1. So in 30/10 we have 3 groups of 10/10, which is going to equal 3. So let's take a look at number 2. And we're going to multiply using the standard algorithm. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to estimate 3 2/10. We can round to 3. So let me make my pen a little, actually, no, we can keep that size. 3 2/10, we can round to 3. 47, we can round to 50. When we multiply, we get 150. So my answer is going to be somewhere around 150. So for our problem, instead of writing out 3.2 for 3 2/10, we're going to take away that decimal and we're going to think of 3.2 or 3 2/10 as 32/10. So we have that tenths written here. We're not going to do anything with it until the very end. So we're going to multiply just like normal with our standard algorithm. 2 times 7 is equal to 14. 7 times 3 is 21, plus 1 more gives us 22. We add in our placeholder. 4 times 2 gives us 8. And 4 times 3 gives us 12. And then we add. 4 plus 0, 8 plus 2, 1 plus 2 plus 2, and 1. So we're not done, right? 1,504 is not our final answer, because this is 1,504 tenths, which is going to be equal to 150 and 4/10. Okay? Another way that we can think about this is if we were to write that number, those numbers 1504, in a place value chart with 4 ending in the tenths place, we would be writing 150 and 4/10. So that's another way to think about it. Now let's take a look at B, and we'll talk about kind of another method we can use. So for this method, I'm going to cross out that tenths, and I'm going to put my decimal point back in there. And we'll get back to that in just a second. First, let's estimate. 3 2/10, we can round to 3. 94, we can round to 90. We multiply and get 270. And then we can multiply using the standard algorithm. 4 times 2 gives us 8. 3 times 4 gives us 12. We add in our placeholder. 9 times 2 gives us 18. 9 times 3 gives us 27, plus 1 more gives us 28. And we add. 8 plus 0 is 8. 2 plus 8 is 10. 1 plus 1 plus 8 is 10. 1 plus 2 is 3. Now, if we look back in our problem, we can see that we have one number or one digit behind our decimal in our factors. So that tells us that we're going to have one number behind our decimal in our factors. So this is our one number, so our decimal is going to go here. So our final answer is 308/10. So that's your guided practice. We're going to skip the second page just because it's more of the same things. If you want to complete it for some extra practice, you can, but you do not have to. Your independent practice does say exit ticket on it. That's just because I like the exit ticket a little bit better than I liked the homework page. You'll also notice that I crossed out the and, so it does say you can use the standard algorithm or the area model. It doesn't matter which one. If you have another method that you prefer, you're welcome to use it. Just make sure that you show your work so I can see how you did it. And then your last question has you explaining why something is or why the answer is what it is. Please make sure that you either show your work to show me why or use words to tell me why. Alrighty? Very quickly, let me give you your secret word and then I'll send you on your way. Our secret word this week is coming from a TV show that Sergeant Vance and I like to watch. Maybe some of you like to watch it too, The Mandalorian on Disney+. And that word is Mando. That's the kind of shortened name that they've given the main character, the Mandalorian, in the show. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm happy to help. Me and Miss Sally are both here, and we are always ready to help our kiddos. So let us know if you have any questions.